I'm tired, not the kind where you yawn once and move on with your day, but the kind where your body feels like it's made of wet concrete and your brain runs on dial-up internet. Every single morning starts the same way. The alarm goes off, and I don't wake up so much as I regain consciousness like someone emerging from a coma. My first thought is always, can I call in sick to my own life? You'd think after getting a full 8 hours I'd feel refreshed. Wrong. I could sleep for 12 hours and still wake up like I've been hit by a truck. My friends ask why I'm always exhausted, and honestly, I don't know anymore. It's become my default state of existence. Getting out of bed is a full contact sport. I'm talking a genuine physical struggle where I have to convince each limb individually to cooperate. My legs don't want to move. My arms feel like they're filled with sand. And don't even get me started on my eyes. They burn like I've been staring at the sun for 3 hours straight. Here's what nobody tells you about being perpetually exhausted. Everything becomes harder, and I mean everything. Brushing my teeth feels like running a marathon. Making breakfast requires the kind of energy reserves I simply don't have, so I end up eating whatever requires zero preparation. Cold pizza? Sure. Cereal straight from the box? Why not? I've given up on having standards. Work is its own special nightmare. I show up looking like a zombie extra from a low-budget horror film. My coworkers have stopped asking if I'm okay because the answer is always the same. No, but I'm here anyway. Focusing on tasks is nearly impossible. I'll read the same email 4 times and still have no idea what it says. My brain just refuses to retain information when it's running on fumes. Coffee becomes less of a beverage and more of a lifeline. I drink it constantly, desperately hoping this next cup will be the one that finally makes me feel human. Spoiler alert, it never is. All it does is make me a jittery, anxious version of tired instead of just regular tired. Now I'm exhausted and my heart's racing. Great combination. The worst part? People think you're lazy. They see you struggling to stay awake during meetings or moving slowly through your day, and they assume you're just not trying hard enough. If only they knew. I'm trying harder than I've ever tried at anything just to maintain basic functionality. It's like running a race where everyone else gets to start at the starting line, but I have to begin 5 miles behind. Social life? What's that? Friends invite me out, and I have to do this calculation in my head. Do I have enough energy to pretend to be a normal functioning human for 3 hours? Usually the answer is no. I've canceled so many plans that people have stopped inviting me places. Can't blame them. I've become unreliable and I hate it. Then there's the guilt. Oh, the guilt is fantastic. I feel guilty for being tired. I feel guilty for not having energy to do things I used to love. I feel guilty for disappointing people. I feel guilty for feeling guilty. It's an endless cycle of exhaustion and self-loathing. My apartment looks like a disaster zone because cleaning requires energy I don't have. Dishes pile up in the sink. Laundry sits in the basket for days. I tell myself I'll deal with it tomorrow, but tomorrow I'm just as tired as today. The mess grows, and so does my stress about the mess, which somehow makes me even more tired. Exercise is supposed to give you energy, right? That's what everyone says. So I tried it. I dragged myself to the gym, forced my body through a workout, and waited for that magical energy boost everyone talks about. Instead, I felt like I'd been run over by a steamroller. The next day, I could barely move. That experiment lasted exactly 1 session. Even simple decisions become overwhelming. What should I eat for dinner? I don't know, thinking is hard. What should I wear? Whatever's closest. Do I want to watch this show or that show? I'll just stare at the menu for 20 minutes instead. Decision fatigue is real when you're already operating at 10% capacity. Sleep should fix this, right? That's the logical conclusion. But here's the thing. I sleep and I sleep and I sleep some more. Nothing changes. I've tried going to bed earlier. I've tried sleeping in. I've tried naps. None of it helps. If anything, sometimes sleeping more makes me feel worse, like my body forgets how to be awake. The doctors I've seen just shrug and tell me to reduce stress and get more sleep. Thanks. Incredibly helpful. I hadn't thought of that. It's not like I've been desperately trying everything I can think of for months now. But then something shifted. I stumbled across information that actually made sense, something nobody had mentioned before. Turns out chronic fatigue isn't always about sleep. Sometimes it's about what you're eating, or more specifically, what you're not eating. My diet was garbage. I lived on coffee, quick snacks, and whatever required the least effort to prepare. Frozen dinners, cereal for lunch, Fast food when I could manage to leave the house. I wasn't nourishing my body. I was just putting fuel in the tank, except the fuel was basically sludge. I learned about something called micronutrient deficiency. Sounds boring, but stay with me. Your body needs specific vitamins and minerals to produce energy at a cellular level. Without them, it doesn't matter how much you sleep. It's like trying to start a car with no battery. The engine's fine, everything else works, but nothing's going to happen. Vitamin D was a big one. Turns out, when you spend all your time indoors because you're too tired to go outside, you don't get sunlight. No sunlight means no vitamin D. No vitamin D means your body can't function properly. It's a vicious cycle. I was basically a vampire, except instead of being powerful and immortal, I was just exhausted and pale. Iron deficiency, too. I wasn't anemic according to the basic blood tests, but I was on the lower end of normal. Apparently, that's enough to make you feel like you're wading through concrete all day. Who knew? Not me, because nobody thought to check beyond the standard panel. B vitamins, magnesium, omega-3s. I was running on empty for all of them. My body was desperately trying to function without the tools it needed. Imagine trying to build a house, but you only have a hammer. Sure, you've got one tool, but you need a lot more than that to actually accomplish anything. So I started supplementing. High-quality stuff, not gas station vitamins. Within 2 weeks, something changed. Not dramatically, not like flipping a switch, but I noticed I could get through a morning without wanting to die. That was new. By week 4, I had enough energy to actually cook a real meal. Revolutionary. But supplements weren't the only answer. I had to fix my sleep quality, not just quantity. Sleeping 10 hours of terrible sleep doesn't help. I was going to bed at random times, scrolling my phone until 2 a.m., sleeping in a room that was too warm with too much light creeping in. I got blackout curtains. I set a consistent sleep schedule even on weekends. I banned screens from my bedroom. I lowered the temperature to something that felt like a meat locker, but apparently is optimal for sleep. I felt ridiculous being so strict about it, but desperation makes you try things. The difference was staggering. Actual restorative sleep feels completely different from just being unconscious for 8 hours. I started waking up and not immediately wanting to go back to bed. Some mornings, I even felt almost refreshed. Almost. Then came the hard part, addressing stress. My life was a constant state of low-level panic about everything I wasn't accomplishing because I was too tired to accomplish it. The stress made me tired. The tiredness stressed me out. Another fun cycle. I couldn't eliminate all my stress, but I could change how I responded to it. Started with 5 minutes of meditation daily. Felt stupid doing it at first, sitting there trying to think about nothing while my brain screamed about my to-do list. But slowly, it helped. My nervous system started to calm down. The constant anxiety humming in the background got quieter. I also had to accept that I couldn't do everything I used to do. Setting boundaries felt like giving up, but it wasn't. It was being realistic about my capacity. I stopped saying yes to every request. I stopped trying to maintain a social calendar that would exhaust a normal person. I gave myself permission to rest without guilt. 3 months in, I'm not completely fixed. I still have bad days where getting out of bed feels impossible, but they're becoming less frequent. Most days now, I have enough energy to function like a regular human. I can make plans without dreading them. I can clean my apartment without needing a 3-hour nap afterward. The solution wasn't one thing. It was everything combined. Proper nutrition, quality sleep, stress management, and actually listening to what my body needed instead of just pushing through. Turns out, you can't outwork a body that's fundamentally depleted. You have to give it what it needs first. If you're always tired, really look at the basics. Not just sleep quantity, but quality. Not just eating, but eating the right things. Not just managing stress, but actually reducing it. Your body's trying to tell you something. Maybe it's time to listen. Looking back, I never thought I'd be the person writing about chronic exhaustion like it's some kind of achievement to feel normal. But here we are. The person I was 6 months ago would be amazed that I can now go an entire day without fantasizing about crawling back into bed. That version of me couldn't imagine having energy for hobbies or spontaneous plans or just existing without constant misery. The truth is, being chronically tired isn't a personality trait or something you just have to accept. It's your body waving a giant red flag, begging you to pay attention. For the longest time, I ignored those flags because I thought pushing through was what you're supposed to do. Turns out, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop pushing and start fixing. Nobody's going to solve this for you. Doctors can run tests, sure, but most of them are looking for serious diseases, not the subtle deficiencies and lifestyle issues that make you feel half dead. You have to become your own detective, tracking what makes you feel worse and what makes you feel better. It's tedious and frustrating, but it's worth it. Now, when people ask me how I'm doing, I don't automatically say tired anymore. Sometimes I even say good and actually mean it. That alone feels like winning the lottery.